Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome back to another Power Rangers Heroes of the Grig excuse me, miniature card game unboxing. This is for the Dino Thunder Rangers. So if you've been following previous sets in the Tommy Oliver Legacy Pack, we already got the Black Dino Thunder Ranger. So now we're gonna get the other core main team of the red, blue, and yellow. And then also the White Ranger plus an evil White Ranger can go with the evil Black Ranger we also got. Also makes this is one of them unique teams where there's only 3 main members, and then eventually we get 2 more, which rounded out to 5. Although the other 2 Rangers kind of mix between being like full-time members and slash 6th Rangers, because lots of times the 6th Rangers kind of pop in for an episode, do something, but sometimes like, oh, I gotta go take a trip, and then they're gone for 2 or 3 episodes. There was no rules pamphlet for this one. So we're gonna look back at this. This does bring back, it was kind of like a redo of the, not a redo, but like homage to the original Power Rangers, because it had Tommy back, it had a dinosaur theme, so it's kind of references to that in there. When evil threatens the city of Eastside, a new team of teenagers with attitude must arise to the occasion. Connor McKnight, Ethan James, Kira Ford, and then Trent Mercer into the Dino Thunder Rangers to take on evil. But beware, there's an evil Dino Thunder White. So if you want the last Ranger for the set to make your full team of 5, you'll have to get the Tommy Oliver pack. And then Villains pack number 4, which I got sitting right here. You can also get has Zeltrex, Messigog, and Elsa, who are the villains for the Dino Thunder Rangers. So if you want to play against their villains, you'd have to go buy that set separately. And that's just one way they kind of do stuff in this game. Instead of always having just big giant boxes that are really expensive, they can do a little bit cheaper ones by splitting up the teams and the bad guys. So here we have the Red Ranger. And these guys, his staff, which is really kind of neat, because usually the Red Rangers have a sword. The fact that he has a staff is actually kind of cool. So let's take a look at him and his cards. So we have Connor McKnight. Dino Thunder Reg, Swift Striker. If there's any enemy keyword in play, the fast keyword, you may take the first turn of the battle. If you do, remove 1 die before performing the first attack during the battle. Just kind of nice. If you can't afford whatever that first fast keyword card is going to end up being, or whatever ends up being first, because of fast, you can skip it and go first. You just have to remove 1 die from the first attack. Now the thing is, you have to remember though, it says your first attack. So even if like the first turn you go first, but you play a maneuver or a reaction first, does not mean you just skip this ability. Then if the next card you play is an attack, you still have to remove a die from it. The only way I could see you getting around that is if you're playing like a special card that doesn't, or one of the cards that doesn't revolve dice. It's because it says if you don't have any dice, you can't remove any. But it has to be your first attack. So regardless if you play a different card first, you still have to do that. Let's see what his cards, how they synergize with that. So we have Corner Kick. 0 cost attack with 2 dice. After rolling, you may choose to deal the full damage of this attack to an enemy card adjacent to the target instead. Excuse me. That's actually pretty neat, because in that way, if you roll and you get like ooh, I got 4, like you got 2 doubles. Or if you have bonuses added on, you're like, oh, that 4 could defeat the next card instead of, oh, I only needed 1 or 2 to defeat this one. It gives you some different options. Definitely won't argue with that. Alright, we have 2 copies of Extreme Speed, which is a maneuver. You can see him zipping in and out there. Any ranger may immediately play 1 card. If it is the first attack played during this battle, add 1 die to that attack. Otherwise, place this card on the bottom of your deck and you may draw 1 card. So either one of those are kind of neat because you could use it with his regular ability, basically negate that losing a die. Or you could use it right away to power up the first attack if you need to. Plus, I like the fact that it's generally just it's not really optional, so which is kind of interesting. So I like that. I like having options on cards, but I like the fact that you actually have to plan for this. So if you play it first, you're gonna have to add that die. But if you play it later, you get the other abilities. So it's either or. You just gotta plan when you want to use it, when it works best for you. His next 2 cards are Outpace. It's 0 cost reaction. Play this card when an enemy card resolves. Reduce the damage of that card deals by 1. If that card has a fast keyword, gain 1 energy. So you see, he's all about speed here, which is very different than most Red Rangers. Most Red Rangers usually have like leader abilities, which either boost the dice of teammates or give them extra attack or rerolls. And this is kind of interesting because even though he is a Red Ranger, technically Tommy, who eventually becomes a Black Ranger, is the leader of the group. And he's just kind of like the other 3 Rangers are pretty much on par with each other. There's not really a leader amongst them. Which makes his abilities kind of neat because then he doesn't have that typical, all the typical Red Ranger leader abilities. Definitely he has stuff that's boosting everything up by letting people attack first and add extra dice and stuff a little bit, but it's not as much as the other ones. He has his 2 copies of TYRANNO Staff, or TYRANNO Strike, sorry. One cost attack for 3 dice. You may reroll any number of dice during this attack. So I guess something Red likes to do is reroll dice, but that's not really like passing it to his teammates. His power weapon is the TRICERA Staff. 3 cost attack for 4 dice plus 1 guaranteed hit. You may divide the attack from this amongst any number of targets that have not yet resolved. So that's definitely cool. So you kind of splash that damage out. But as long as they haven't resolved. So this is basically more powerful early in the game. Gets more and more useless as the game goes on. Not useless, but I mean, if you get down to the last card, then you can only do damage to that 1 card anyhow. Which is great. 4 dice plus 1 attack, but it kind of defeats the rest of the purpose. Then the team card. So this is what all 3 of them will have. Is THUNDERMAX SABER. 1 attack, 1 cost attack with 2 dice. If any other effects add dice to this attack, add plus 1 die to this attack. Then you may divide the attack to any number of targets. That's kind of their theming. Ignoring like fast abilities and adding some like one die, but like dividing stuff. So it's kind of cool. Let's see what the other Rangers can do for us. Up next, we have the Blue Ranger. So the other thing that all the Rangers do is they each have their own like dinosaur ability. And Connor's was all about speed. Like he gained like an extra speed boost. Even though he's a Tyrannosaurus Rex like themed, he gains a speed boost. Ethan gains armor. He gains a dinosaur hide. And Kira, the Yellow Ranger, gains a scream. So they'll gain special dinosaur-esque abilities, which is a thing like they started doing in a lot of the series, and I think especially when there's only like 3 members on the team. But I think it was just to kind of make each ranger more more unique from each other than just being a different color. So here at Ethan James, the Dino Thunder Blue, clever solution. Once per attack, when you roll a missed result, any ranger may draw a card. What's awesome there is it's per attack, and then any ranger may draw a card. Lots of his abilities are once per battle. The fact is, during every attack, you have a potential to like replace it. I mean, you're not gonna always use it because you'll run out of cards in your deck really quick, but that's definitely a cool ability. So you have 2 copies of Improvise. 0 cost reaction. Play this card when any ranger performs an attack. Reveal the top card of that ranger's deck. If it's an attack card, add 1 die to that ranger's attack. Otherwise, gain 1 energy. Yes, that's kind of cool. You could potentially get an extra die or gain extra energy. Plus, it works well with their THUNDERMAX sabers of adding dice. Yeah, neat. 2 copies of Low Kick, 0 cost attack with 4 dice. That's pretty powerful. But it says during this attack, all double hits result are treated as zeros. But at least that works off as regular ability. But that kind of makes this sort of a gimme take, because then you really only want to do 4 damage. But even still, 4 damage, all 1 hits are really good for a 0 cost. 2 copies of Shield Bash. He's using his weapon a lot. 1 cost attack with 3 damage. And this is also neat. This is a Blue Ranger that has lots of attack. Usually Blue Rangers are defense oriented. So when you perform this attack, you may discard 1 reaction card from your hand. If you do return this card to your hand instead of discard it. That's kind of cool. So we've had... So he has 1 reaction so far. And he'll have a couple more reactions. So he actually gets... This card actually be fairly useful for him. Because his next 2 cards are TRICERA skins. So he gains dinosaur like high 0 cost reaction. Play this card when any ranger suffers damage to reduce it by 3. So there's his defense. Super helpful. His power up is the TRICERA shield, which is also a reaction. So it's a 3 cost reaction. Play this card when any ranger suffers damage. Reduce that damage by 3. The next time any ranger performs an attack, add 3 dice to that attack. So that works really awesome for defense, plus it works really well with their THUNDERMAX saber. If they get the extra dice, they can add it, spread that amount out. So I mean, also now if this was doing 5 damage, and then you can spread that 5 damage around, that's definitely cool. That if you get misses, you could use his ability to draw extra cards. Alright, now we're up to the Yellow Ranger, Tiro Ford. Pitch Perfect. Once per attack, when you roll a double hit result, gaining energy. So kind of neat. So sort of the opposite of Ethan's, the Blue Ranger, where if you get a miss, you get an effect. This is if you get a double, you gain an effect. And there's really not much else you could do with that idea. Like, I mean, I kind of couldn't have a third one. So we have 2 copies of Flying Kick, which we've seen before. Both Ninjor and the Pink Mighty Morphin have this. I don't know if anyone else has it off the top of my head. But it's kind of interesting. This is one of the few cards they keep reprinting. It's a solid card, so I can't blame them. I don't mind reprinted card here and there for characters, because some of the abilities are just that good. other decent, like, generic abilities for, like, single cards. I just don't want anyone's deck to be all reprinted cards. Anyhow, we have Flying Kick, 0 cost attack for 2 dice, and you gain energy. Just right there, it looks like what her thing's going to be is gaining energy. So we have 2 copies of Harmonize, 0 cost maneuver. Any ranger may immediately play 1 card. After the card resolves, choose 1 card from your discard pile with the same shield value as the played card and add it to your hand. Ooh, so that's actually really interesting. So another ranger may play a card. So they get theirs, but then whatever they pick, you get a card back. So it kind of sets you up. So if they play something, so you might want to synergize with them. Like, hey, I need this 3 shield card back. If you could play a 3 shield card, then I could get that card back for free, or vice versa. However it works. Here's a special Dino ability. 2 copies of the TERA Scream. 1 cost reaction. Play this card when any ranger performs an attack. Before that attack resolves, reduce the health value of the target by 2 till the end of turn. This is a super powerful card, because dropping anyone's health by 2 definitely makes them a lot easier to beat. If their health hits 0 because of this, they are KO'd. It's just an instant, as soon as your health is 0, it doesn't hold them at 0 till the end of turn and then go back up. Yeah, so you can KO, finish off guys with this really quickly. Here she has, oh, I haven't been showing off the figures. We'll show them after this. 2 copies of Rapid Spin, 0 cost attack with 2 dice. If you roll any missed results during this attack, you may immediately perform a second attack with the number of dice equal to the results. Especially if these guys having lots of abilities to add extra dice. That could actually be very helpful, because then if you do roll a bunch, you get at least try again a second time with all of them. Her power weapon are the TERA Grips, which are basically giant daggers. 3 cost attack for 3 dice. After you resolve this attack, any ranger may immediately play 1 card. If it is an attack card, add 1 die to that attack. Nice, so some good synergy. There's some really good synergy between these guys. And then, of course, for THUNDERMAX SABER, which then again, they play this, they add that die. So then they have 3, so you could play her big 3 cost one with 3 die, and then after you resolve it, you could play one of these for another 3 die, then now you can spread out. So 6 dice for 4 energy is pretty darn good. Plus, once per attack, if you do a double roll, you can gain energy. So during that first attack, you gained 1 double, you can gain energy off of it. Or if you're playing with Ethan, if you roll to 0, someone could draw a card. So definitely those two could work together. If you really want to be abusive about it, use Connor right off the bat. You can always skip the fast keyword by removing 1 die from that first, making it only a 2. But you could attack first in the turn. So, I mean, if you did turn 1 with that, 2 dice, and then immediately throw this down afterwards. So now you've done, it'll only be 5 dice instead of 6. But you'll have 1 focus attack, plus 3 that you can spread out. You can definitely probably get rid of like 2 cards that way. Just show some of the synergy between these characters. Alright, here's our Blue Ranger, which is TRICERA shield. They do have this, like, kind of like glaive blade, like gun blade weapon. It's kind of interesting that none of them had that as one of their cards. And there's our Yellow Ranger, because there's her gun blade, and her TERA daggers. And then, as long as we're looking at, guys, let's look at our White Ranger, since we're going to do him next. And he's got his power weapon there. And you can see he's kind of got the 6th Ranger motif a little bit more like the White Ranger, because he's got like the shielded vest, which is a common thing with the 6th, like the 6th Ranger being whatever extra Rangers are beyond the regular team. And not to spoil stuff, but Trent Mercer was one of these characters that, like, throughout the series, you weren't really sure if he was going to be a good guy or a bad guy, which is kind of neat. Sort of like, again, because again, this season harkens back to the original Power Rangers, the Dino themes, again, with Tommy Oliver, the original Green and White Ranger coming back. So kind of like this, where you have a White Ranger instead of a Green Ranger, that, oh, maybe he's evil, maybe he's good. So that's kind of an interesting callback too. So he's got Fierce Impact. Once per battle after resolving an attack, if the attack dealt at least 3 damage, deal 1 damage to an adjacent target enemy. Definitely cool to have. You just gotta really hope you can do that extra damage, so it's not as always viable. Alright, but let's look at his abilities, or his cards. He's got 2 copies of Arrow Shot. 1 cost attack for 3 days. Ignore the guard keyword when choosing a target for this attack. Definitely not bad there. Getting to skip the guard. 2 copies of Dash and Slash. 0 cost attack, it just does 1 damage. Before rolling, you may place 1 card from your hand to the bottom of your deck. If you do, add 2 dice to this attack. Yeah, so kind of what do you need to do? Can you afford 1 card? At least it's not discarded, it goes back in your deck. But if not, you can always just go ahead and roll these 2 dice. Plus, if you're playing with the other Rangers, you can use their other abilities, like Blue Rangers. If you roll a miss to draw a card back, which should help, or if you get to double, you can gain that energy. So these Rangers really kind of work together very well. What did I mess up here? Oh, does he have a bunch of different... No, he doesn't. I just can't read. Never mind. We have 2 copies of Drago Strike. 2 cost attack for 4 dice. Plus there's a defense ability. If this card is revealed for defense, the next time any Ranger performs an attack during this battle, add 1 die to that attack. So I like the fact that even though he's an extra Ranger, his abilities still kind of work with these guys. The Black Ranger, his abilities that he was designed before these don't work. I mean, I'm sure they synergize well, and I'll have to do a video at some point showing them ally Rangers and extra Rangers, how they work well with their teammates. But he doesn't have all the same effects. There's a lot of elemental type stuff. But I love the defense ability. Even if there's only 1 on here, it's not focused around this defense star. I just like that they have it because there's so many other characters and cards in the game that are like, oh, if someone reveals a star for this, this ability happens. So whenever they just even occasionally add one, it kind of makes that ability more powerful. 2 copies of Misdirection. So this is his special Dino ability, is to go invisible. So he has Reaction. Play this card when an enemy card deals damage, gain 1 energy, and you may divide that damage amongst any number of Rangers. Just being able to spread damage out can be very helpful, because that way you're not forced to KO 1 guy, or maybe you know that like one of the other guys has like a high defense card, like lots of the Blue Rangers tend to put cards back on top of their deck so they can put high defense, so you can just spread it over to them and they could absorb that. So it's kind of cool. His power weapon is the Drago sword, 3 cost. It's a maneuver. Choose one attack card from your discard pile with an energy cost of 2 or less. Play a card without paying its energy cost. Add 3 dice to that attack. So that's actually pretty awesome. Yeah, so choosing one attack from your discard pile with cost of 2 or less. Play it for free and gain 2 or 3 extra dice. So it's kind of cool, but it's only for him. I mean, this could be really cool if you're playing the thing where you're playing 2 Ranger decks mixed together, or Legacy, and you're making your own deck with different Rangers. I just want to see what his attacks are. But basically, playing this for free, so it's 4, 5, 6, 7 dice. That is devastating. This one, potentially 5 dice, because you could, or you could just leave it and not discard a card. Or 5 dice for this one, plus ignoring guard. So he has some good options. He also has one more card that you could use. So this is laser arrows. So it's X cost, which I don't know if that would really work because you're playing it for free. Which that means X would be 0. But as 1 dice, so I would at least give it up to 4 dice. So that's still not bad. Let's just add any number of dice to this attack equal to the amount of energy spent to play this card. If this attack defeats a target, you may divide the excess energy amongst adjacent cards. So it's basically you overkill an enemy, you can use their extra stuff. So although it would work kind of nice with this because you could play them for free and just have 4 dice instead, I would probably use any one of the other ones with it because this one's better to drop a ton of energy in, roll a bunch of dice, and then spread that damage out. Plus, if you use like Kira's ability, Yellow Ranger, you get some double hits. You can gain at least 1 of that energy back, which should help negate some of that. Or if you only spend 1 to add 1 extra die, at least you can get that 1 extra die back or energy back potentially. All right, so then we have some Zords, and then we will jump into the bad guy. So we have Red Rangers, Dino Thunder Red TYRANNO Zord. Let's see if I can make that picture a little bit better. It's still going to be a little bit dark. Exhaust this card when any Ranger performs an attack. Add 1 die to that attack. That Ranger may reroll any number of dice during that attack. It's a very Red Ranger-y thing. Plus, it works well with their THUNDERMAX and stuff like that. Be able to add an extra die. So we have the blue Dino Thunder Blue TRICERA Zord. Exhaust this card when any Ranger suffers damage. Reduce that damage by 2. That Ranger may choose 1 card from the discard pile and place it on top of their deck. It's a good defense card that sets up extra defense. Then we have the PTERA Zord. Dino Thunder Yellow. Exhaust this card during any Ranger turn in battle. Gain 1 energy. Reduce the health value of an enemy that has not suffered any hits by 2 till the end of turn. Now this one will, well, it could immediately kill some because there's lots of foot soldiers that only have 2 health. But even still, just be able to reduce a bigger guy by 2 from like 7 to 5 or 9 to 7. That could be very helpful. Plus, you gain that extra energy, so you can play something even better. White Ranger gets the DRAGO Zord. Exhaust this card when an enemy card is defeated. Deal 2 damage divided as you choose amongst enemy cards adjacent to that card. So yeah, so just basically be able to help finish off some stuff. And then we have the Thundersaurus Megazord. So it's just the 3 of them. It doesn't include the White Ranger or the Black Ranger Zords. So hopefully they'll add them in like some sort of promo pack at some point. Because because that'd be cool. When this card is summoned and start of each round, add 4 energy tokens, max 4. Once per ranger turn in battle, any ranger may remove 1 energy token from this card to ready an exhausted Zord. So this actually is really cool, because then once you play it, you can basically unexhaust your 4 other Zords. And you can keep using those other abilities they have to gain extra energy, or extra defense, or extra dice. So whichever you need in the moment, you can unexhaust them and have them ready to go. Yeah, so that's definitely awesome there. Gives you some good synergy. Alright, then finally, our last thing we're going to have is the Evil Dino Thunder White. So there he is. And there is his model. And yeah, just as a comparison to the white one, to the regular Ranger version, he looks the same. So, like, unlike the Evil Dino Thunder Black Ranger, the Dark Evil Tommy, I think they called him, who has, like, extra spikes or looks extra evil, he looks the same. And that's because, at the time, this was still Trent Mercer. So it's the same character, essentially. It's just, he thought he was evil, or he was doing evil things. I don't remember exactly why. But let's look at some of his cards. So his big bad card is Brutal Persona. So 6 health, passive. Each time a ranger discards a card for defense, drain 1 energy. So that could definitely suck. 2 copies of, so it's also neat is when they do the evil versions, they have cards that mirror their ranger counterpart. So he has Dark Laser Arrow, it does 5 health and fast. Roll 1 die for each energy in the shared pool, and in the storage of rangers in this battle, deal damage to each ranger equal to the total amounts. So he really doesn't like them to have energy. 3 copies of DRAGO Sword, 4 health and fast, deal 4 damage. The ranger who suffers this damage reduces the shield value of each card they reveal for defense by 1. Yeah, so that could definitely make it take a bunch more extra damage, especially if you draw 1 shield card, which are now 0s. And then his final one, he has 2 copies of Zord Control. And you actually just see some alt Zords that they get. So this would also be a neat thing that they could include in an expansion, because they have the Stegozord and the, I believe, the Ankylosaur, which is what he uses a lot of times to make his Megazord. But that's one of those neat things some of the different Ranger series did, where they had extra alt Zords, especially when there's only 3 characters. So it'd be kind of neat if they made like an extra promo pack with like those 2 Zords plus like the Megazord with that, or some of the other combinations, with like maybe like the Black Ranger's Brachiozord. So this says deal 3 damage. Repeat this effect once for each Zord card in play. So if this hits early, not too bad. Late in the game, it could definitely hurt. Like if it hits like really early on, it's just 3 damage. That's not bad. Even like you have 1 Zord in play, that's 6 damage. It's not terrible. You go when you have all 5 Rangers out, or even with the Megazord. So I'm assuming a Megazord counts as a Zord, because they don't actually specify, like, saying the word Zord on a card. I mean, yes, some of them, they say Megazord or Dragozord, but that's what they're called. As you look at some of the other cards, they have, like, Mega Winger or Shadow Winger for, the 1 series, or, different names. Not always necessarily Zord at the end. Alright, that's what we got there. New bad guy to go with them. Pick up the Tommy Oliver pack, so you can get all 5 Dino Thunder Rangers. This is a great way to just add some extra teams there. We're gonna get some more like this as well, like I know Time Forces coming out this way. Alright, see you guys in the next video. Bye.